Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Dot to Study. So here I am with the second video of the chapter The Muslim League. Okay, it's chapter 5 from History ICSE class 10. Okay, so in the previous video we discussed about the factors which led to the formation of the Muslim League, isn't it? But here we will discuss the events. Okay, what happened? Okay, now these events are related to those factors only, so you can connect them easily. Okay, so the events that led to the formation of the Muslim League. First of all, the Hindi-Urdu controversy. Okay, before also we discussed something about Hindi and Urdu language, this problem, isn't it? So here the Hindi-Urdu controversy, the problem was which language, both Hindi and Urdu, were spoken in the United Provinces, that is Uttar Pradesh. Okay, at that time, that is the British colonial rule, Uttar Pradesh was known as United Provinces. So now the problem was, or now the confusion was, which language, that is Hindi or Urdu, which language should be accepted as the national language. Okay, this was the problem, or this was the reason which led to the fight between Hindus and Muslims. Okay, now earlier Urdu was the court language, that is all official announcement, petitions or anything that we submit to the court, all were done, all court works and official works were done in Urdu. Okay, but this was resented by some of the sections. Okay, so what happened in the year on April 8, 1900, the government announced that both Hindi and Urdu has equal status. That is, both these languages are given equal status, and these all official announcements, petitions, everything related to offices and courts can be presented both in Hindi and in Urdu, as well as if some official announcement is there, that also will be presented both in Hindi and Urdu. Okay, so now an equal status was given, but still the people were not satisfied. The Hindus wanted Hindi to be in a higher place, and the Muslims were the ones who resented this, and the Muslims wanted that Urdu should be in a higher status, in a higher position. Okay, therefore these Muslims resented. They said that no, this should not be done. We want Urdu to be the national language here. Okay, because in Uttar Pradesh, you know that the Muslim population was high. Okay, so that's the reason why Urdu was also given equal status, but still they were not satisfied. Okay, now this created a rift between both Hindus and Muslims. Now let's move on to the second one, that is foundation of MAO Association. Now what is this MAO Association? MAO Association. This is Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental Association. Okay. Now what happened? When Congress was formed, initially the British thought that Congress would act as a safety valve between the Indians and the British, isn't it? That's the reason why Lord Dufferin supported that. But what happened? In later years, the Congress picked out all the negative points or all the wrong things, all the faults all the faults on part of the British, and said that we do not want this and we want our own country, we want Swaraj, and such things were happening. That is, national movements were occurring. This Congress as a political party was collecting people, was convincing people and leading mass movements. Okay, so now it was a threat. Congress was a threat to the British government. So in order to decrease that threat, the British thought an idea of organizing or of creating a new association, that is Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental Association. Okay, so they didn't start it. The principal of Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College laid the foundation of this Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental Association. Now what happened? What's the advantage? This would act as a check to the growing influence of the Congress. And furthermore, this would prevent the Muslims to join the national movement because all the Muslims would be in this association, Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental Association. And as this is formed by British, it's British idea. So it's obvious that this association will not turn against the British. So they would be safe. So what are the reasons behind the formation of Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental Association? First, to prevent the Muslims to join the national movement. Second, to weaken the unity and to act as a check for the Congress. Okay. So this was all about the Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental Association, Defense Association. Okay, Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental Defense Association, and it was formed by Principal Beck, who was the principal of MAO College, Principal Beck. Okay, in the year 1893. Now, where is this MAO College located? At Aligarh. Okay, where is it? At Aligarh. Now, what was the motive? One more motive was there, that is to promote loyalty to the British. Okay, that is this association will influence the people, and the people would show loyalty to the British. That is, the Muslims would be loyal to the British. Okay, so these were the main objectives, main ideas behind setting up the MAO Association. Now you will ask how it led to the formation of Muslim League. See, first of all, it's creating a rift between Congress and the Muslims. Okay. Now, if this is an association separately made only for Muslims, now this can act as a forerunner of the Muslim League, isn't it? Now let's come to the next point, that is the Aligarh politics. Yes. Now, what is this Aligarh politics? Earlier, this Aligarh politics was led by Salimullah Khan. Okay, but after his death, earlier this Aligarh movement was led by Sir Said, but after the death of Sir Said, Nawab Mohsin ul Mulk led the movement. Okay, led the Aligarh movement. Now, what was its objective? It worked to instill in the minds of the Muslim a spirit of loyalty towards the British government. That is, to influence, to accept the Muslims, to make the Muslims accept that the British are doing good for us and therefore we should be loyal to the British. Okay, that is to inculcate loyalty in the hearts of the Muslims towards the British. Understood? And a very important thing, to knowingly keep the Muslims away from or apart from the national movement, because the British know that if Hindus and Muslims come together, then it's a big trouble for them. Okay, then it's like Afad Kenya. Okay, so therefore they tried all the means, जहाँ जहाँ हो सके वहाँ पे वो हिंदूज और मुस्लिम्स को सेपरेट करने का आइडियाज लगाते जा रहे थे. Isn't it? अभी आपने MAO एसोसिएशन भी वही देखा, और ये Aligarh politics में भी वही हो रहा है. Okay, understood. Now, what happened when this Hindi-Urdu controversy was going on, and the government said that both Hindi and Urdu are given equal status. Now, you know, many sections of the Muslims were angry on this. Isn't it? That is, they did not accept this decision. So what happened? The secretary of the Aligarh politics, because you know who is the secretary? Who? Yes, Nawab Mohsin ul Mulk, isn't it? Now, he was leading the politics, which means he is the secretary. Now, he was also furious. He also became angry, and he said that no, it's absolutely wrong on part of the British government that they are giving equal status to both Hindi and Muslim. Okay, this was said by, that is, he resented. Nawab Mohsin ul Mulk resented the decision of the government. Okay, now as a result of what happened, the Lieutenant Governor at that time, MacDonald, was the Lieutenant Governor of UP. Okay, now he also became very angry. How this person is raising his voice against us. Okay, he became very angry, and he, being angry, he said that either he should leave his post from the secretaryship of the Aligarh movement, or he should withdraw his words. That is, he should say that he agrees with the government's decision. Okay. Now, by hearing such a move from the British government, by hearing such words from the British governor Macdonald, the Muslim leaders became angry that how this British government is being angry on a Muslim leader. Okay, so after being angry, now the Muslims decided that we want a separate organization, we want a separate Muslim organization of our own. Okay, let's move on. The next one is partition of Bengal. Now you all know that in 1905, Lord Curzon was the person who initiated this partition of Bengal. That is, he said that the partition was done because as Bengal is a very big province, it's becoming very difficult for us to govern, to administrate the place. But we all know the reality, and at that time the political leaders also knew the reality, isn't it? This division was being done only for creating a rift between Hindus and Muslims, because this division was done on the basis of religion. Okay, the East Bengal had a majority of Muslims, whereas the West Bengal, or the Bengal proper you can say, it had a majority of Hindus and non-Bengalis, isn't it? So here they are again trying to divide the Hindu and Muslim and trying to shatter the Hindu-Muslim unity. Okay, now what happened? The Muslims of the East Bengal, the British were successful in convincing the Muslims of the East Bengal by saying that now see, you are getting a separate Muslim majority province, so you should be happy and you should support us, isn't it? So in this way, in some of these ways they might have, what you can say, made the Muslims feel happy or convinced by the fact that yes, this partition should be done as it's very useful for us. Okay, so in this way they got the support of the Muslims. Okay, because the Muslims were very happy that we are getting a separate Muslim majority province. But what happened? You know that after the political movement, that is the anti-partition movement, was done in Bengal by masses, isn't it? That is, the political leaders came forth to lead this anti-partition movement, and many agitation, boycott, Swadeshi, and all these things were seen. So after that, what happened in 1911? Well, in 1911, this decision was taken aback. That is, the decision to divide Bengal into two provinces on the basis of religion was taken aback, and a new division was done, that is on the basis of the language that was being spoken. That is, the Odia speaking Odisha and the Hindi speaking Bihar was separated from the Bengali speaking Bengal. Okay, so this was done. Now, as this was done, again the Muslims were angry that we had got the separate Muslim majority province, and now you are the ones who are again taking back this opportunity from us. Okay, and now you are dividing the place just on the basis of language. This is not acceptable. Okay, so in this decision also the Muslim resented. Okay, next, fifth one. It means that they enjoyed a Muslim majority province, and they were happy with that. Okay. Anyway, let's move on to the fifth one, that is Muslim deputation to the Viceroy, Lord Minto. Now what's this? See, to create, that is, they wanted that a strong political organization should be there that will create a strong opposition to the Congress. Okay, because if the country's people itself are opposing Congress, then it's very difficult for them to come up and to fight against British, isn't it? So that was their main objective. So what happened? To create a possible opposition to the Congress by using the Muslims, the Viceroy Lord Minto appointed a committee, that is Arundel committee, to work out an expansion of the legislative council. That is, the governor was aided by a council. So to expand, in which the Indians were also present. So Lord Minto, he arranged a committee, that is Arundhati Committee, to expand the Legislative Council. Okay. Now the communal people, mainly the Muslims, they said that they wished that we should have some special position in it. That the Muslims should also get a chance to be members of the Legislative Council. Okay. So now their brain worked out. They said that we should present a draft before the British government, saying that we should also be given chance. Okay. So what happened? In order to support that, the new principal of MAO College, that is Mohammedan Anglo Oriental College, who was that new principal? He was Archibald. Okay. Now he said that we should present, but these I am giving some suggestion which should be presented in that address. Okay. Now what were those suggestions? First of all, they said that he said that is Archibald, the new principal, said that we should begin by saying that we are loyal to you. That is, we are loyal to the British government, by saying that we are loyal to the British government. Next, they said that we fear that okay. Next suggestion he placed that we are afraid that as we are in minority, that is, as the Muslims are in minority, so we would not get accurate electoral post. Okay. The Hindus may curb all, so we are afraid of that. Okay. Next, they said that we should get at least some nomination on basis of our religion, or some reservation on basis of our religion. So these were the suggestions that were presented by Archibald. And you know, Archibald was a British, so it was a joint effort. Okay. Now, next note. Now an address was prepared, and important or a very great political Muslim leaders, that is 35 of them, attended. From 35 influential Muslim leaders came all over the country, and this group of association, this group of leaders were led by Aga Khan. Okay. Now they met the Viceroy in Shimla on October 1, 1906 and put forward their demands. Now what were their demands? Let's see. See, there should be representation of Muslims in the elected bodies on basis of their political importance and not on their numerical strength. They are saying that in these elected bodies, Muslims should also have their place, and that should not be on their political, and that should not be on their numerical strength, rather it should be on the political strength. Okay, that is, जो भी elected bodies में उसमें Muslims भी members होने चाहिए. Understood? Next, they wish to have separate electoral constituencies. Okay, that is for Muslims in the provincial council and in the imperial legislative council. दोनों provincial council में और imperial legislative council में separate electorals होना चाहिए Muslims के लिए. That was their demand. Next, some preferences should be given to the Muslims while nominating members of the Viceroy's Council. You know the Viceroy's Council, isn't it? So in that also Muslims should have membership, and some preferences should also be given to Muslims while nominating the members. Okay. Next, reservation of seats for Muslims in the state services. That is, in the state services, it is the government services. In those services, Muslims should have separate reservations. Next, more state aid for promoting new Muslim universities. Okay, that is more aid, that is more help in financial, more help should be done financially so that the new universities that are being founded can develop. Okay, so now you can see that the demands that were presented were all based or were all Muslim oriented, isn't it? That is, they wish that in all sectors, in all governing bodies as well as in other jobs, Muslims participation should be there, and for that the British should give nomination or preferences. Okay, nomination, reservations or preferences. So these were the main demands that were done by these 35 Muslim leaders who and they were led by Aga Khan to the British. Okay. Now what happened? The Viceroy accepted. He nodded his head towards these demands. Now as their demands were accepted, they became happy and they thought that, and now they got more confidence of forming a separate political organization of their own. Okay. So now you can see that the seeds of Muslim League are already sown. That is, Muslim League would be founded soon. Okay. Let's come to the next one, that is the formation of the Muslim League. And yes, finally the Muslim League was formed in the year 1906 on December 13. That's on December 13, 1906, finally the Muslim League was formed. Okay. Now why this Muslim League was formed as a result or to get a separate electorate for the Muslims. Okay. Now Nawab Salimullah of Dhaka took the initiative. Who took the initiative? Nawab Salimullah. Okay. Now in December 1906, when eminent Muslim leaders, yes, see, Mohammedan Educational Conference was done. Okay. Now this was done in December 1906 and many eminent Muslim leaders came to attend this Mohammedan Educational Conference. Okay. So what happened? As a part or after these leaders were already assembled here, so in that occasion only Nawab Salimullah presented his idea of a separate electorate and formation of a separate Muslim political party, that is the Muslim League, and this was accepted by all the leaders and which led to the formation of the Muslim League in the year 1906 on December 30. Okay. Now who was elected as the permanent president of the league? Aga Khan. Okay. And its headquarters is now in Lucknow. Okay. So this was all about the formation of Muslim League. Now as a league, as a political organization is formed, then it's bound to have its own aims and objectives. Isn't it? With what aims, with what objectives they have founded this league, that we have to know. Okay. So that's we will discuss about that here. First, see, to promote among the Muslims of India support for British government. Okay. And to remove any misconception regarding the intention of the government in relation to Indian Muslims. मतलब कि दोनों ही मुस्लिम्स और ब्रिटिश दोनों ही पार्टीज के बीच में जो भी मिसकंसेप्शन है सबको हटाना है और दोनों के बीच एक अच्छा फ्रेंडली रिलेशन सेटअप करना है. So to the Muslims they said that we should be loyal to the British because they would do good for us and they are doing good for us. Okay. And on part of the British they would try to remove any misconception regarding the Muslim. मतलब कि कुछ भी अगर गलत फहमी है then उस सबको हटाना है. Okay. This was their first objective. Next. Yes. All the political interests and rights of the Muslims. Now, if anything is, if any political right is not being given to some Muslim organization or Muslims, then that would now be faced by the Muslim League. That is, the Muslim League would take action. Okay. Yes, and to represent their needs and aspiration to the British government. But it would be not furious or it would be not demanding like Congress. Rather, they would speak in moderate language. Okay. Next, yes, a feeling of hostility was between the Muslims of India and other communities, isn't it? It was prevailing. A feeling of hostility was prevailing between the Muslims of India and other communities. So the Muslim League wanted that this hostility should be ended and we should maintain friendly relations with all other communities that were in India. So these were the three main objectives. First, to promote loyalty to the British and to remove misconception on part of the British regarding any event by the Muslims. Second, to present the political rights and to present their needs and aspiration before the British in moderate language. Okay. Now, third one, what was that? To prevent the rise of feelings of hostility between the Muslims of India and other communities in India. Okay, so these were the aims and objectives. So here also it's clear that they did not want to oppose British government, rather they want to maintain or develop friendly relations. Okay, and through these friendly relations they wanted to present the political needs or their ideals regarding Muslims before the government. Okay, next, impact of Muslim League on national movement. Okay, now such a political organization only for Muslims was set up, isn't it? Now it's obvious, it will obviously have some impact, some consequences, or some, okay, it would be better to say some impact on the national movement, because now here we can see a bifurcation of religion. Okay, that is, the Muslims will now no more join Congress, which means the unity is being weakened, isn't it? So let's see what are the impact. First of all, League's role in beginning. Okay, before, as I said, the Hindu-Muslim unity is broken. Okay, which means that the national movement is also being affected. As the unity is broken, so the strength of national movement is also decreased, and that's what British wanted. Okay, next, okay, first one, League's role in the beginning. See, in the beginning, the Muslim League did not start or initiate any major or they did not come forth for any national movements. Okay, they just wanted people to be loyal and British also to be loyal. Okay, that was their motto in the beginning. But they wanted that more Muslims should be appointed in all services, be it in the council or any other government services. This was their objective in the beginning. Okay, and as regards representation in assemblies, it wanted more seats than its numerical representation warranted. Okay, so it wanted more seats. See, according to the numerical strength, seats are given, but this association, Muslim League, wanted that we want more seats, and that number of seats that were demanded were not according to their numerical strength. Okay, now the political activities that were led by a Muslim League was not at all in any way harmful for the British, because they did not oppose the British. So the British were happy with the Muslim League, you can say so. Okay, and furthermore, the British said that the Muslims' interest, the interest of the Muslim League is very different from the Congress, and it's not at all like Congress, so we can accept them. Okay, so they gave this assurance to the Muslim League. Next, government support to the League. See, with the help of the governor, Lord Minto, who was the viceroy at that time, he secured the League's demand to give separate electorate, isn't it? Now, the provisions for this separate electorate was given by the Morley Minto reforms. Okay, Morley Minto reforms of 1909, which was intentionally done. Okay, which was intentionally done to please the Muslim League, ताकि मुस्लिम लीडर्स जो है, जो मुस्लिम लीग में है, वो सब खुश हो जाए, और क्योंकि उनको सेपरेट इलेक्टोरेट दिया गया है तो ये खुश हुए. But the Congress resented the Muslim League, resented separate electorate. Initially the Congress resented the separate electorate, okay, because they said that if we are giving separate electorates, which means then we are allowing bifurcation of religions, and that they didn't want. Okay, now Congress was not based on any religion. Every people from every communities, every religion, every caste, be it higher, lower, poor, riches, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, all people were joining the Muslim League. were joining the Congress. So it was not at all religion based. But whereas the Muslim League was a religion based political organization. So the Congress said that if we are allowing separate electorates, which means we are allowing bifurcation of religion, and which would ultimately affect the unity of the political movement, and that's what the British wanted. Okay, and therefore they allowed separate electorates. Okay, next is the phase of rapprochement. Rapprochement means unification, union. Now, what is this phase of rapprochement? In the phase of rapprochement, we would see a union of the Congress and the Muslim League, who were earlier opposite to each other. That is, who earlier opposed to each other. Now they are coming together. Now, what were the reasons that led to the union of both Congress and Muslim League? That we would see. What happened? From 1910 to 1930, many young political leaders came forth, and these leaders did not like the fact that that is the Muslims, are being so loyal to the British, and we are not saying anything against the British, that is anything against the British, by even seeing that the British are doing wrong. So they resented this, but at that time they did not do anything. But afterwards, what happened? See, in the Turco-Italian War, the Britain showed hostility to Turkey, and Turkey, was a Muslim majority place, isn't it? So the Muslims in India were hurt too by the cruel acts of the Britain towards the Turkey. Okay, and as a result, and in the Balkan Wars too, made a large section of Muslim leaders critical of British policies. Okay, next, the annulment. Yes, say the annulment of the partition of Bengal in 1911. As I said earlier, that is in 1911, the annulment of British partition of Bengal was done, and the partition was done on the basis of language. That is, linguistic division was done. This was resented by the Muslims and said that this act is not according to the interests of the Muslims in India. Next, see, the younger sections of emerging Muslim leaders disliked the loyalist politics of the Aligarh group and leadership of big Nawabs and Zamindars, because these big Nawabs and Zamindars were not at all conscious or not at all paying attention to the weaker sections of the Muslim community. They just wanted their own development, okay, and they just wanted to have more seats, more government jobs, and these seats, jobs were just occupied by the richer sections of the society, and they did not pay any heed to the Muslims who were in the weaker section, that is, who were poor. Okay, so therefore these younger political leaders resented that. They said all should be given opportunities, okay, and they also resented the loyalist politics that was being shown. Now, some young scholars influenced by the Deoband School of Muslim Studies were inspired by nationalist sentiments. They said that we should have nationalistic sentiments rather than communalistic sentiments. That is, we should fight for our nation, not for our religion. Okay, so this was the idea. Among them, now, who were these leaders who had such great thoughts? See, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, Habibur Rahman, Hakim Ajmal Khan, and Mazhar ul Haq. So these were the leaders who had such good thoughts, who had such good ideas. Okay. Now let's come how Muslim League and Congress came together. See, when the British government acted against the Turkish interests and supported the cause of the Balkan countries. See, now these Turkish countries, the Muslims were more in number. That is, it was a Muslim province. So when hostility was being shown to these Muslim persons, then the Muslims in India were also turned hostile against the British, and they also became very sad of the fact that the British are showing such cruel acts against the Muslims in Turk. Okay, and as a result, they stood up and started agitation and launched the Khilafat movement. Okay, Khilafat movement was launched by the Muslim League. Now, the Congress at that time were planning to do non-cooperation movement. Okay, now the Congress said that we accept your separate electorate, your plan for separate electorate, and we would also join the Khilafat movement, and Khilafat movement would be a part of the non-cooperation movement. Okay, now here the Muslim League and Congress came together. Understood? That is, the Congress cooperated with them, and Khilafat issue was included as one of the demands of the non-cooperation movement. Now there were many demands of the non-cooperation movement, so this Khilafat movement was also accepted as one of the demand. Okay, so here you can see that union of both Congress and Muslim League is being seen, which means that again our national unity is being strengthened. Now as a result of this union, a pact known as the Lucknow Pact was signed between the Congress and the League in the year 1916. Okay, now according to the pact, the Congress accepted the concept of communal electorate, that is separate electorate for Hindus and Muslims, and furthermore, which subsequently added to the communal bitterness. Okay, next we will go to the partition of the country on communal lines. That is, you know that earlier Pakistan and India and many other countries were together. Okay, but the division between Pakistan and India was only done on the basis of communalism or communal lines, that is religion. Okay, now in 1930 the idea of two nation states was born, and in the 1940 session of the League at Lahore, Jinnah put forward his two nation theory. Thus, despite a severe opposition from Gandhiji, the country drifted towards a partition. The communal riots broke out in the country, and in 1947 a separate country, Pakistan, was formed. Now, why it became so necessary for that a formation of a new province, or the formation or the division of the country into two provinces on the basis of religion was important? Because due to the communal riots that were increasing day by day, the fights on the basis of due to religion and community based riots, fights were more in number. So if it would continue, then it would result in great loss of life. Okay, as a result, they thought that two nations are better than these fights. Okay, although Gandhiji opposed it, but still our country was divided into two provinces on the basis of religion. Okay, so here we come to the end of this video. In the next video, we will continue with the Lucknow Pact and the rest of the portions. Okay, so till then, bye bye.